regarding dissociative amnesia, dissociative identity disorder and multiple personality disorder. Also we studied about depersonalization and derealization. So we'll round up a little bit because it has been some time since we gave that lecture. So if we talk about dissociative amnesia, so amnesia we define it pathological loss of memory. And then also we dissociation we define it as splitting of the clusters of the mental content. Okay, in the same, so in similar way we define a dissociative amnesia as inability to recall previous information, usually of traumatic and stressful nature, that was very unusual to be forgotten by the ordinary forgetfulness. Okay, that is very unusual to be forgotten by the ordinary forgetfulness and cannot be attributed to the presence of any other mental illness or to the use of any medication, whether it is neuroleptic medications or any other drug. Okay, so in this also amnesia we saw a pathological loss of the memory where an area of experience becomes inaccessible to the memory. Okay, so this was regarding amnesia. Then also we had multiple personality and dissociative identity disorder. In dissociative identity disorder was characterized by presence of two or more personalities in one individual. Okay, so wherein we learned that there will be one individual will have 2 to 3 personalities, and one will be dominating while others will be switching to the others, while when the dominant personality feels is overwhelmed by the anxiety, then they will switch to the other person. And switch, we learned that the switch will be sometimes fluid and there will be eye blinking will be seen. Okay, sometimes the switch might be sudden, sometimes it might be slow. Okay, so and also we learned about the depersonalization and derealization. In depersonalization, when the person has an unreal feeling about the self, whether it is his ideas, whether it is his thoughts, whether it is his body image, so he has an derealization about his own self. And in deep personalization we saw in depersonalization, then derealization. In derealization we saw that he has an derealization with the environment. In here he feels that environment is unreal around him. Okay, so now today we will learn about the predisposing factors and the management of all these disease conditions. So in predisposing factors, factors जिनको हम बोलते हैं, we saw genetics plays an important role in the development of any psychiatric illness, and these disorders are no different. They will genetic cause, genetics is also responsible for these. Okay, so it will be strongly associated with the relatives who have been suffering from the dissociation, and the first degree relatives, close relatives of these individuals will have a higher chance as that of the general population. Okay, then we have other is neurobiological. In neurobiological, since in dissociation what we saw is there is loss of the information from our what we were remembering previously is not accessible anymore. So that means there is something wrong with the structures which are associated with the memory. Okay, so there may be dysfunctional neurophysiological dysfunction. This is neurophysiological dysfunction in areas related to memory, like I said. Okay, so there will be neurophysiological dysfunction in the areas related to the memory. So what are the areas which are related to the memory is amygdala, we have fornix, Next we have mammillary bodies. Likewise we have frontal cortex. Okay, so these are the areas in which it is believed that there is a neurophysiological dysfunction. Although it has not been extensively studied where the dysfunction exactly lies in case of the dissociative disorders, but it has been proposed that it is possible that there is some neurophysiological dysfunction in these areas. Okay, in the areas which are concerned with the memory. Okay, if we talk about the neurochemical role, neurochemicals which are responsible for causing dissociative disorder. Yombin. We also have sodium lactate. Are the two neurochemicals which have been dysregulation of yombin and dysregulation of the sodium lactate is believed to be associated with the dissociative disorders. Okay. Other than that, there are also some of the disease conditions who have been closely associated with the development of the dissociative disorders. For example, temporal lobe epilepsy. Temporal lobe epilepsy, it has been seen there is correlation between temporal lobe epilepsy and the development of the dissociative disorders. Okay, and also migraine headaches. Temporal lobe epilepsy and also migraine headaches have been associated with the development of the dissociative disorders. So now this was neurobiological and neurochemical. Now we will move to the psychosocial theories. Freud's psychosocial view is more accepted after it was proposed by the Freud. So in psychosocial causes, Freud talks more about repression. Let's understand what is repression. So let's take an example what a repression is. We know it is involuntary forgetting of the painful stimulus या painful experience जो होती है उसको जब हमारा दिमाग involuntarily forget करता है कि हम लोग एक voluntary effort नहीं डालते इस चीज को भूलने के लिए, बट हमारा दिमाग ऐसा है कि वो naturally इस चीज को भूल जाता है. Likewise it takes it from conscious to unconscious awareness में लेके जाता है. ठीक है, then it is in unconscious memory, it is no longer accessible for the conscious recall, so no trauma, no feeling of the anxiety. So we use it as a defense mechanism to protect ourselves from an anxiety. For example, take an example, we throw litter into the sea. जो हम dust डालते हैं sea में डालते हैं. Whenever there is low tide, what happens? Whether you throw a cup of coffee or whatever you are throwing, it goes with the low tide and goes into the sea. इसी तरह हमारा दिमाग, मान लो ये अभी हमारा दिमाग क्या है, समंदर है. हमने क्या डाला अभी, litter is repressive material. जो गंदगी था या garbage था, we throw the garbage into the sea. So whenever there is low tide, it will go with the low tide and go somewhere into the sea. इसी तरह से जो अभी हमारी पेनफुल एक्सपीरियंस थी, तो हमने इसको क्या किया, जब हमारा दिमाग काम था हमने इसको धीरे धीरे किस में डाला, अनकॉन्शियस अवेयरनेस में. ये सी में अभी कहां गया किसी को पता नहीं है. लेकिन जब हाई टाइड होता है, when the high tide comes back, all the litter, all the garbage which was in the sea comes back to the shore. जितना भी गार्बेज था जो हमने सी में डाला था, जब हाई टाइड होता है, मतलब जब तूफान होता है, तूफान के टाइम पे जो भी समंदर के बीच में भी जो होता है वो उसको खींच के किधर लेके आता है, किनारे पे लेके आता है. इसी तरह से रिप्रेशन है. तो जब भी लो टाइड था हमने इसको अनकॉन्शियस अवेयरनेस में डाला था. लेकिन जब भी अभी हाई टाइड इन द सेंस इज व्हेन द person experience a similar kind of a traumatic event or a similar kind of a stress he is experiencing when he is going through the similar kind of a stressful situation. What happens, जो पुराना वाला स्ट्रेस वाला एक्सपीरियंस था वो क्या आता है, वापस आ जाता है. ठीक है, तो ये है डिप्रेशन के बारे में. सो दिस एक्सप्लेन्स अवर डिप्रेशन. तो व्हाट फ्रॉइड सेज इज दैट वी यूज डिप्रेशन टू प्रोटेक्ट आवरसेल्व्स फ्रॉम द ओवरवेलमिंग एंजाइटी. जो हमको एंजाइटी होता है उससे बचने के लिए हम क्या करते हैं, रिप्रेशन यूज करते हैं. इसी तरह से अगर हम रिप्रेशन को, so in the same way what happens is we use dissociation. Whenever we have a painful experience, we dissociate ourselves from the painful. Say for example, derealization. If we are talking about, say a child is exposed to a पेनफुल एनवायरनमेंट, जहां पे एनवायरनमेंट से उसको एक ऐसा सिचुएशन है एनवायरनमेंट में जो उसको पेन कॉज करता है. अभी चाइल्ड क्या करेगा? चाइल्ड विल ट्राई टू डीरियलाइज, क्या करेगा? डिसोसिएट करेगा अपने आप को किससे? एनवायरनमेंट को, सो दैट ही फील्स दैट एनवायरनमेंट इज अनरियल इन ऑर्डर टू प्रोटेक्ट हिमसेल्फ फ्रॉम द एंजाइटी. ओके, सो नेक्स्ट वी अबाउट इज what this theory suggests is that the stress is so much that all the coping strategies which we had, they are not able to cope up with the overwhelming anxiety. What it means that कि जितने भी हमारे पास स्ट्रेटेजीज हैं, जो भी डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म, हम चाहे वो रिप्रेशन हो, चाहे वो हमारे पास कोई और डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म है, जैसे कि इफ वी टॉक अबाउट डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म, we have sublimation, compensation, right? Identification. Then dissociation is also one of the defense mechanisms. So what this psychological trauma says is that the stress is so much that it cannot be dealt with the other defense mechanisms, or not able to cope up with the overwhelming anxiety which is produced by the traumatic experience. Okay, so we use dissociation as a means टू कोप अप विद द स्ट्रेस. ओके, तो हम क्या करते हैं? अभी डिसोसिएशन को यूज करते हैं बिकॉज अदर रिसोर्सेज विच वी हैव आर नॉट वर्किंग, आर नॉट कैपेबल एनफ टू सबसाइड द एंजाइटी विच वाज एसोसिएटेड विद द पेनफुल एक्सपीरियंस. इसलिए हम क्या करते हैं? डिसोसिएशन का यूज करते हैं. इसी तरह से जो मोर एक्सेप्टेड व्यू है इसमें, विच टॉक्स अबाउट that the survival strategy which helps the children to cope up with the overwhelming anxiety. कि ये क्या है? डिसोसिएशन क्या है? एक ऐसी सर्वाइवल स्ट्रेटेजी है, ये चिल्ड्रन को कोप करती है ओवरवेलमिंग एंजाइटी से बचाने से मदद करती है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ यू टॉक अबाउट मल्टीपल पर्सनैलिटी डिसऑर्डर, ठीक है, एक पर्सनैलिटी में उसको क्या हुआ था? एक पर्सनैलिटी, सी वन पर्सनैलिटी, देयर इज अ सिचुएशन एंड इट क्रिएट्स एंजाइटी. ठीक है, एक ये इंडिविजुअल है, इसमें अभी एक पर्सनैलिटी डोमिनेंट है, और इस पर्सनैलिटी में एक सिचुएशन ऐसा आया जिसने क्या किया? क्रिएट एंजाइटी किया क्रिएट. और ये इस पर्सनैलिटी के लिए इट इज नॉट, दिस पर्सनैलिटी इज नॉट कैपेबल ऑफ होल्डिंग टू दिस एंजाइटी or to respond to this situation so that he can prevent anxiety from occurring. So what does he do? He switches to the second personality, and this second personality is able to face the situation without undue anxiety. Okay, so second personality is able to face situation without undue anxiety. Okay, so अभी ये क्या करेगा? स्विच करेगा to the next personality, and this personality does not feel any anxiety in the similar circumstances. Okay, likewise we learned that if one personality is Sharif, other personality will be likely, it is more likely that the other personality will be Wilt. Okay, so Sharif personality, it is different to cope with the difficult circumstances, but for a Wilt personality, it is not so much difficult to cope with the difficult circumstances. Okay, so this was regarding the physiological factors, predisposing factors which result in the dissociative identity disorder and dissociative disorders in general. Okay, so other than that, if you have any confusion, please reply in your comments, or you can call me also. So इसके अलावा अभी ट्रीटमेंट में हमने ऑलरेडी पढ़ा है जैसे कि एंटी एंजाइटी ड्रग्स, बेंजोडाइजेपिन्स विल हेल्प बिकॉज देयर इज एंजाइटी. देयर इज आल्सो SSRIs, SNRIs, ट्राइसाइक्लिक एंटी डिप्रेसेंट्स विल ऑल हेल्प. एंड अदर देन दैट देयर विल आल्सो बिहेवियरल थेरेपी हेल्प करेगा, या कॉग्निटिव थेरेपी हेल्प करेगा. जैसे कि मल्टीपल पर्सनालिटी डिसऑर्डर में हमको क्या करना है? वी हैव टू फर्स्ट मेक इंडिविजुअल अवेयर दैट ही इज सफरिंग फ्रॉम द मल्टीपल पर्सनालिटी डिसऑर्डर. सिमिलरली इन केस ऑफ द डिसोसिएटिव एमनीशिया और डिसोसिएटिव फ्यूग, या जैसे कि डीरियलाइजेशन है, डीपर्सनलाइजेशन है, our first step is the awareness of the client regarding his phenomena of the dissociation. Then only we can move on to the next strategies, like कि जैसे आपने person को aware किया है, then step by step we will move on. Or sometimes hypnosis can also help
जो रिप्रेस्ड मटेरियल है, ताकि हम उसको पूरी अवेयरनेस कराएं उस रिप्रेस्ड मटेरियल के बारे में, सो दैट ही फेसेस द सिचुएशन रादर देन having pain regarding the situation. So hypnosis and all those strategies, they will be discussed later in some class. So as of now, like this is enough for this class. So we have ended till now. Other disorder which we will finish after this is post-traumatic stress disorder. After that we will move to the neurocognitive disorders, which is delirium dementia and alcohol dependency syndrome. We'll move on to the in our next lectures. Thank you.